Welcome to round 3 action of the Rotax Max South African Karting Championship. We're in Idube Raceway in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. Looking forward to action now from the Mini-Max category. And to get a little bit of insight into this class, let's catch up with Wesley Orr.
Championship, probably one of the most impressive, one of the most interesting kart circuits in the world. What does it take to do well at this circuit?
Well, this is a tricky track because you've got a lot of ups and downs. So it's a combination of setup, a lot of release in the kart, but also you need horsepower as well, obviously. So yeah, the combination of driver, chassis and engine here to put it together makes quite a big difference. So you'll find that the drivers that have got a bit more experience seem to be a bit quicker here.
Is it a circuit for aggressive driver or a smooth driver?
Well, if it's coming to the actual racing side of it, where they're getting into a battle, I mean, you have to be quite aggressive because, it's quite flowy, high-speed stuff, so you can
it's got a lot of overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of overtaking opportunities, but the high-speed stuff makes it quite risky for everybody. So, yeah, I think that you need to be quite aggressive, yeah. Well, the thing with South African motorsport is we're quite far behind on the actual culture and the lifestyle of racing drivers. So the guys that I take on, I try and get them involved in the fitness side and try and mentally prepare them off the circuit in their lifestyle. They can handle the pressures on the track. We have a very strange mentality in South Africa where we come to the track and we just drive around as fast as we can. But motorsport right now is a lifestyle, and the international drivers are taking it to a new level, so I try and take the drivers to that level so we can compete. So they handle the pressures in that well.
2 rounds to go. What do you tell your driver this weekend? How do you brief him coming into the
Well, you can never pre-plan a race. The only thing he's got to do is basically keep his nose clean, but in the same sentence, go for the win. Racing is so unpredictable. He just needs to keep it tidy and be fast. That's what he can do. And our job is to give him the best equipment possible. But he needs to stay calm and do the job.
Mohammed Wali not here this weekend, which has allowed a big gap at the front end. Troy Snowman grabbed that immediately and beat up Matthew Morrell for qualifying in the top 2 with McBeath and Mngeni on the second row. Then it was Mika Abrams and Ghazi Motlakar, Ethan Steer and Tyler Robertson.
It was pretty tough. I just thanked my mechanic. He did a great job with the tires and everything. So I think I should say thank you to him mostly.
Having driven now in Europe, what do you bring back from having raced there?
I think I got a lot of experience there on the lines from those tracks. A little bit harder. Maybe I can bring it back here to South Africa. Hopefully use it here and hopefully it's faster.
Round 3 of a championship here, always a crucial round because this is a make or break scenario. What is your plan for the weekend?
My plan for the weekend is I don't think I'll be able to run away, but hopefully I will be able to win in 3 heats and try my best, and I'll be happy with any result.
Guys to watch out for in the class?
Matthew Morrell, Mika Abrahams, and Mandla. Yeah.
And the circuit here, is it a circuit you like?
In fact, it's my home track. I come here every day, every week for 4 years. And I think I've mastered every corner. I know every stone on the track. Yeah.
What is the trick to this circuit?
Don't mess up. If you get in front, don't mess up. If you make a mistake, someone will catch up to you. Just do your best. Put your head down and drive.
Guys, we're at the 3rd round of the championship, and for many years this has been the make or break round. Have you what's your plan for tomorrow?
Well, my plan is to just keep it clean for the first 5-6 laps, and then maybe start fighting for the lead. Yeah.
Got the local man on pole position on his home circuit, the most technical circuit in South Africa. What do you think about him being on pole and the technicality of the circuit?
I think the technicality of the circuit is very high because you have hairpins like Kangaroo, and you have fast corners like Thunderdome, and you really just got to find that balance between those two to get really quick here.
Qualified 3rd. What have you got up your sleeve for tomorrow?
I would like to do the same as Matthew for the first 5 laps, and then hopefully also go fight for the lead.
What is the trick to a good lap on the circuit?
So a good lap to the circuit, you always have to brake late and carry your momentum.
Manda, the season is getting to the serious stage. 2 rounds to go, and we are at probably one of South Africa's most technical circuits. Talk to me about being here at Idube and what your plans are for the weekend.
Well, Idube is one of my favorite tracks. Unfortunately, I missed a day of practice yesterday, but today I had to make it work because I'm actually at a disadvantage with 1 day less of practice. But still, you got to use what you've got. You got to keep positive. And with Idube, it's one of my favorite tracks. I really like it. I really enjoy the atmosphere, the vibe, and with the weekend, I'm really hoping to score a top 3 here. Hoping to qualify on top 3, making it easier. And yeah, today the sessions weren't that good, but in the last session we found something, we made it work, and I'm just hoping for the best in qualifying in the race.
Who are the guys to watch out for in the class?
I think Troy and Mika, they're also quite fast. They also have the pace. That's a better competition for me.
What is your strategy going into the weekend? Knowing that you need to maximize, what is your strategy?
Stay out of trouble, try to get as least penalties as possible, even none. Don't cause any accidents, just keep it clean, trust in God and drive.
That's not a bad strategy to have. When you see God at the end of turn 1, brake and turn right. And that's exactly what Carl would be saying to them. Carl Lawrence joining me for commentary as we get ready now for Heat 1 of Minimax.
Tramlines there as they head into turn 1. Guzzy just moving. Troy cutting wide there to back off to keep Matthew Morrell off him, as Jason McBeath probably going to be the big winner now as they head down into Thunderdome.
Oh, there's no big winners just yet. These guys are going to fight right to the end. And despite only having 8 cars qualifying, a couple of guys had some issues overnight, could only get here in the morning. So we're now up to 12 on track. So should be a bit of a change up there. Possibly a couple of guys who weren't up there going to come into the mix into this one. But the crowd are loving life so far as we head down into the bottom end of the circuit. And already changing down into Funnel Corner.
Troy Snowman running a little bit wide as they head up the hill there, but one of the drivers that's really impressed me this year has been Guzzy Mortlakai. He's running right up in the front with Ethan Steer there. Ethan Steer, one of the strongest kids in Cape Town in this class, sitting just behind there in 7th place.
Yeah, look at that, and I can tell you it's not going to be an easy day in the saddle for anybody in this category. Right now, Sneyman trying to control things from the front end, but things will change and always do when it's so competitive. The first lap in anger there, everybody in the 50s. They're going to probably look down to get into the 49s as the race pace picks up and the Mojo tyres start to get the heat into them. Remember, these guys run the full circuit, so they don't turn right at the top of this hill. They go up and over. Little bit of airtime, not as much as the slightly quicker carts, but needless to say, Minimax still giving a great showing here. And those top 5 make it the top 7 very evenly matched.
Mika Abrams there, normally a top 10 runner in the mini rock class. He didn't do most of the season in the Minimax, but that did do the African Open, and that's given the buggers bitten, and now he's here in the Minimax.
And he's loving it, exactly. So Sneyman and Morale controlling things from the front end. Mika Abrams starting to close in on them. Mlangeni and Guzly Motlaka having a bit of an in-house fight of their own. But watch out, as you said, for Ethan Steer. Slowly but surely ticking them off.
Yeah, Ethan Steer, one of the normal front runners in this class, just sitting behind there, unfortunately not able to get through the group or capitalize on his qualifying. But as we look now at these 3, Troy Stamman starting to open up a slight gap between himself and Matthew Morrell. This class, the slip up the back isn't as big as we see in the other class and the smaller classes. So he's able just to eke out just that slight bit of a gap.
Now, the one question a lot of people will be asking who've been watching this championship all season long is, where's Wally? Muhammad Wally, that is, because he's not here. And that's a bit of a gamble to take so late in the season, wouldn't you say, Carl?
Yeah, unfortunately he's out for religious reasons, and he's been the only one that can compete with Troy Sneyman all season. The two of them being out in the front on their own. But now it looks like it'll just be Troy Sneyman getting away from the rest of the pack, all on his own.
Morale fending off the very big attentions being shown there, but not quite able to keep that lead enough to control for second. Second place is where it's at this stage, as you said, with Sneyman pulling away. Now, with Muhammad Wali not being here, that's going to be vital championship points lost for him. But he has got little comfort in the sideline, though, because remember, he did... Oh!
Jason
McBeath.
McBeath.
Sideline. McBeath on the sideline and into the tyres.
Unfortunately, he just locked the brakes there coming in. They got a little bit sideways. There's not much runoff here in Idube, and that stuck him in the wall and ended his race.
And gone right to the back of the field there. I think even Ethan Deacon and Travis Minga have come through on him. So he's got a huge amount of work to do now.
Unfortunately, another person we're missing from this class is the Praga lady, Taya van Laan, taking a break from Rotax competition. She's moved over to the bigger class in OKJ. So she won't be joining us for the rest of the season here either.
Oh, it's a bit of a gamble, and of course some of these things pay off in the end. Let's see whether or not that's a gamble that's going to pay off for her. Right now, the man who's got all the cards on the table is Sneeman, and he is hanging on to a very comfortable lead. Morel has not been able to close him down. Mika Abrams is now right there with him, with the demise there of Jason McBeath with that little mistake that he made. But look at Abrams. Abrams is looking left, right and centre in that RKT and looking for a way past, but he can't quite get there yet.
Yeah, Mika racing with quite considerably less experience than Matthew Morel. Matthew Morel coming from Bambinos all the way up now into Minimax. Mika only starting 2 or 3 years ago in karting, so Morel using a bit of his experience there to stay ahead of Mika Abrams.
It definitely pays off in the end, having that little bit of extra experience. We're talking about it in the Bambino class as well, on how little experience they've got, but how good their race strategy is already. And that's what these guys and girls will put into practice when they're in situations like this. And there you go, Morel showing exactly what you need to do. Just cut across, make that one move that you're allowed to make at the vital time, and it'll keep the man or lady behind you in that vital opportunity that they try and get past.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those moves in the Bambino class, and that's where they learn it and they carry it through into the older classes. Unfortunately, if you missed out on that critical stage, you have to learn it very quickly, and you have to learn from your other competitors doing it to you.
Yeah, or watching it just ahead of you and then putting it into practice yourself. So, Troy Sneeman leading things out at this stage. Comfortable margin. He's pulled almost 2.5, almost 3 seconds, I would say now, over the second pack. Morel just fending off the advances from Mika Abrams, but Abrams not able to find a way through. And now coming to the closing stages, into the last turn. It's perfectly done. Troy Sneeman is going to take the win comfortably. 4.5 seconds up the road. Matthew Morel will hang on for second place and just beat Abrams to the line. So some good dicing out there. Tony Cart versus Burrell versus RKT. Expect more of the same now in heat number 2. Confirmation there in 4th place. It was Mngeni who came through ahead of Gazi Motlaka, Ethan Steer and Tyler Robinson. And Jason McBeath did recover nicely to get into the top 8, just ahead of Ethan Deacon.
I did try my best. I can thank my mechanic, my God, for helping me, pulling me through this race, helping me to do my best.
The win seemed to be pretty easy in the end.
It was pretty difficult. I normally train every day, all day, every week, and yeah, I just put so much effort into coming into this race and trying to win and practicing every day, and yeah.
How confident you can make it a clean sweep today?
I'm very confident. We had a problem. It was sliding quite a bit, and the heat's coming up. Our jet was definitely wrong. And yeah, I think we'll fix those problems and hopefully we can be stronger for the next heats.
So we, at the start, we just worked together to try and get to first place, but Troy was too fast. And then I just defended the last 2 laps. Yeah.
What do you reckon your tactics are going to be for the next one to try and get past it?
Well, we're going to try our best to get the setup right, and hopefully we can pass Morel because he's very fast. Troy is also very fast, and hopefully we can pass Morel and come second or first.
Here we go for heat number 2 now, Carl, as they head towards us for turn 1 action. Oh, good start around the outside. Ethan Steer starting to put the pressure on right from the word go as well as they came into turn 1. But yet again, Troy Sneeman getting the drop over everybody and already pulling us a little bit of a margin as they came out onto Thunderdome and up onto that back straight.
Yeah, big move there from Adam Leggetti to get into 3rd place behind Morel, and he's looking a lot racier than he did in the first heat. But there we see Ethan Steer just behind Mika Abrams. They're going to head into funnel. Is there going to be any moves? No, quietly keep it to themselves, head up the hill and get a good run to get onto the back of Troy Sneeman.
Yeah, Sneeman pulling a little bit of a gap now, so it's going to be a battle for second place we're going to watch out for again. Where is McBeath? He's there as well. Remember, he made a mistake in that first heat. He doesn't want to be doing a similar thing here in heat number 2. Let's keep it all together. And on the track, Tyler Robinson right there with him too. And then look at Gazi Motlaka fighting hard as they come into this first lap and complete it. Great bit of driving. McBeath dives through. Steer goes down 1, and he'll follow Jason McBeath down into corkscrew now.
Yeah, Tyler Robinson's first event in the Minimax. She did a bit of racing at the African Open and has decided something she wants to do. So she's here at Idube, first time in that brand new Praga.
And doing a super job so far. So let's see how that young lady goes from here on out. Up over grandstand and down towards funnel. Let's see if there's any moves there. A little show of the wheel, but I think it's too early to make a move just yet. Unless you that. Oh, that was huge. Massive, massive dive down the inside as Ethan Deacon and Motlaka came together there trying to avoid each other and trying to overtake each other, but it didn't quite work out. Second place is where it's at right now. And what a run at the front end here. It is so tight between these drivers. They're giving it everything they can for second, but they're allowing Troy Snyman to get away.
Yeah, Troy gapped it early, got in the way. It's amazing how drivers take on the driving style of their coach. Unfortunately, I had to race Wesley a few seasons of my own career, and I'm used to seeing the back of a helmet that sits like that.
Yeah, it makes it very, very difficult. 5-1-9 though, Matthew Morrell hanging on for second for now. But how do they line up behind him? Absolutely amazing to see that. You've got some big battles about to start there, led out by the Burrell. You've got the RKT in there. You've got an FA. You've got a Cosmic. They're all fighting hard. And don't forget the Praga. Tyler's not too far behind.
Yeah, mistake there from Manlam again. He just allowed Matthew Morrell to get away up the hill, and it's allowed Jason McBeath to get past Mika Abrams.
That's how we go. That's how you do it. Just wait for that mistake. Apply the pressure. Force the mistake if necessary. And every now and again it pays off. But Morrell hangs on for now. Here comes McBeath. Has another show of the wheel. Doesn't quite make it stick, but he's definitely looking racy. And he certainly looks like he wants to make up for that mistake he made in race number 1.
Yeah, Ethan Steer and Tyler Robinson definitely join the party now if this fighting continues for second place. But unfortunately, it's just going to have to be a fight for second. Troy has all but checked out.
Mungeni just hanging on, but here comes McBeath applying the pressure, and there was a big move on the cards there. Was he able to make it stick? I don't think so, but look at that. Once again here, 7 of 12. This time he's going to make it stick? No. This time he has to tuck in behind him again. Mungeni just placing his car to perfection there for Squadra Corsa.
Yeah, he's very strong in the brakes, especially into turn 1. You actually see him pull that car sideways and make the man behind him think about it more than once to get past.
So McBeath now with a bit of pressure from behind as well. And big move there from Mika Abrams. Showed a lot of wheel and a little bit of nose cone as well as they went up over the grandstand corner. Now down into funnel. Let's watch for some overtaking. There's definitely going to be a move on the cards here. Oh, I say that, but then they all just tuck in and wait. They're playing the waiting game here. Is that the right thing to do at this stage?
Look, I think knowing that your lead has already run away with it, there's no chance in trying to win it from here. So they're looking for a finish in the second. Oh, another mistake from exact same mistake he made in the first heat. Jason McBeath is locking his brakes into hockey and losing it as they go in there.
Yeah, he's ended up a little bit harder into the wall though, so might be a bit longer for him to get back onto track. That's now going to just open things up there for 3, 4 and 5 as the second place man hangs on to that battle at the front end. But looks like 5th place has lost out there, and I think Ethan Steer just got caught out with the spinning cart, so he had to back out of it ever so slightly, which has lost him 10 kart lengths.
Yeah, you say they're playing the waiting game, but Munder's obviously lost interest. He's gone past into second position. You don't want to fight too early because you don't want to bring anybody else with you, but Matthew Morrell not getting that memo. Great block pass, and it's allowed Mika Abrams to move up position behind him as well.
Perfect placement there from Mika Abrams, waiting for it to happen. As soon as it did, he pounced and dived through and got up into 3rd place there behind Morrell. So Morrell now with the RKT on his tail. So it looks like a little bit of change up there in terms of how the chassis are going to finish. And I can tell you right now, Tony Carter happy with the performance so far. RKT will be ecstatic with that move from Abrams up into second.
Yeah, Abrams doing very well to run up in the front here in the Minimax. Relatively new to this class. He's a regular in the Mini Rock, so doing a fantastic job to run up in the front 3 here.
Now up onto the little lift-off point here. It's not really a break point for these guys as they come up over the top, and all of a sudden Mlangeni has dropped down from what was second into 4th. So he's got to turn it all around here. Speaking of turning around, there's a move from Morrell diving through for second. Makes it stick. Mika Abrams gets the drive though. He might be able to come back at him. Look for the cutback. No, not quite close enough, and the door was shut there by Morrell.
Yeah, Manlam Mlangeni trying to do the same thing that Mika did the lap before, unfortunately making a massive mistake and losing big ground to these two up the hill.
Yeah, and it's also allowed Ethan Steer in with a chance now of a possible top 5, and maybe one up are there on Mlangeni. Abrams back ahead of Morrell into turn 1. Change up for second place as they head through Corkscrew. And now this man is just getting away. I don't think anybody's going to have an answer. He's pulled about 5.5 seconds at this point, so he's definitely opening up a most controllable advantage over second and third place as they continue the fight.
Jason B3 joined just behind him, using him to try and get a good lap time to get a good start for the next heat. But unfortunately, that mistake cost him dearly in the results.
Yeah, looking at the way things are going. In fact, it's a good drive there from McBeath. He did get a good lap time in of a 49.8. It'll probably put him into the top 2 rows or maybe the 3rd row of the grid for the final heat of the day. But the battle's not done yet as Mika Abrams goes defensive into turn 1, keeping out Morel. Although, as I say that, he's pulled about a cart length on the Burrell, so Morel losing out on that last lap and falling into the clutches there of the charge from Mlangeni, and also just behind that Ethan Steer. So Morel could be in a bit of trouble here. Look at him jumping up and down, trying to get a little bit more advantage out of that Burrell as they head up the hill.
Yeah, you were saying earlier that jump is why this final corner used to be called Kangaroo, but Troy Snyman, class of the field, driving away from everyone.
Yeah, he's been incredible. And he's definitely missed out on Muhammad Wali. Well, he wouldn't say that. He's probably saying, I'm glad he wasn't here. But look out for Muhammad Wali coming back in the final round. This championship's not done just yet either. Last lap board now for Troy Snyman. The rest of the pack, look at the big gap they've got. That's McBeath. Of course, he's unlapping himself there. But there's second place across the line. 7.5 seconds back. That's a huge advantage, particularly in Minimax.
Well, a big touch there from Matthew Morel, and I think that might have cost him a nose cone penalty.
Now looking down and having a look to see whether or not we're going to see any changes now. You can see the heads are behind all the steering wheels except for Mika Abrams. And Mika Abrams now controlling things from second place. The battle is now for third. I thought it was going to be for second with 4 carts. It's now 3 carts fighting for third as they come down into the closing stages. That is the man they've all got to catch. 7.6 seconds now up the road ahead of Mika Abrams. Perfectly done from Troy Snyman there in the Tony kart. To the line he comes. Checkered flag is out. And it's Snyman to take the second victory of the day for Minimax. And it was basically flag to flag. He was untroubled all race long. Mika Abrams comes through for second place for RKT. Then it's Ethan Steer. Good drive from him in the CRG. The FA of Mngeni finishes in 4th. Behind was Tyler Robinson up in the top 5. One of her best finishes ever, due to the fact that Matthew Morel was given a nose cone infringement, and so was Jason McBeath, who finished down in 9th place after recovering.
Yeah, very much. I pulled quite a bit in this last race. Yeah, I had a really good engine, car, tires, everything was going well. I just thank my mechanic. Pretty confident for the third race, more than the other races because of these 2 results. But I think we can still make the car a bit better, stronger out of corners, and it's quite slippery. But I think it's just a day. Everyone's like that, and yeah, it's just going a good day for me.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew and Mandla gave me a run for my money. And it's super hot out on the track, and eventually I got the move down into hockey stick and pulled away.
Any plans you want to make for the last race of the day?
Well, I think we set the 2nd or 3rd fastest time. Try and keep on Snyman's bumper and take it from there.
That's not a bad strategy to have, considering he's starting from the front row there with Troy Snyman. So let's see if he's able to do that. Oh, I think there might have been a bit of bumping and barging in that warm-up lap already, and a possibility that Matthew Morel could have even had a nose cone infringement on the warm-up lap. That'll be a huge mistake from the young man if he's done that. Let's have a look and see. Oh, looks like there might be a little bit in there, and it is all up for grabs. McBeath into second. That's where Jay wants to be.
Yeah, that big move from Troy Snyman on the start to move the outside row a little bit wider has allowed Jason McBeath to come through into second place. Brilliant start from him.
And Abrams now losing ground, not only to the hard-charging McBeath, but also to Morel. And looks like he's going to have to work hard. It didn't quite work out according to the strategy he just spoke about. He wanted to be right on the bumper there of Troy Snyman, but he's gone from second down into about 4th or 5th.
Yeah, Snyman all 3 heats doing that big move from the inside road to the outside on the start, just to give himself enough room to get a good exit out and get going on making that massive lead.
Ethan Steer coming along with a couple of carters there as well. A 5.77 of Travis Mingo. We haven't really mentioned him too much in the heats, but he's definitely in this one now. McBeath looks over his shoulder straight into Morel's helmet, and here comes a big move. I thought it was going to be up there, but Mika Abrams just tucked in behind and said no, maybe later on.
Yeah, Travis Mingo normally driving the Minimax, normally only competes in the micro. He had to have a bit of experience on his home circuit of the Minimax.
And it's paying off nicely. Up to the top of the hill, though, Troy Snyman, all the experience in the world and disappearing at the front end, allowing second place to just continue raging behind him as he controls things from the front. He got 7.5 seconds in the 12 lappers earlier on. This is a 15-lap final, so probably going to be close to the 10-second gap if he continues to do what he's doing right now.
Yeah, Matthew Morel and Mandla Mngeni fighting hard for that 3rd place, and it's just giving Jason McBeath a little bit of breathing room. So unless they settle down, we're going to have one cart out in the front and another cart all on its own in second.
No, working hard here at the front end though. Initially you got to work hard to get that gap. Once you've got the gap, you can control things from the front end. Steer trying to close down there. He's having a big look on the inside of Mika Abrams as they went up that back straight, but wasn't quite close enough. He just kind of looked up the road and said, all right, where do I need to be? And the CRG man now onto the back end of that RKT. So it's 6 carts fighting for second.
Tyler Robinson also a lot closer to this party than she was in the previous race, so she's also looking hungry to get a couple places up there.
It's great to see that as well, and mention every single one of the chassis involved in this category, all fighting there for second. The Tony Card out front is the dominant factor, but behind that you've got an FA, and it looks like he's going to be pushing hard. You've also got a hard-charging Cosmic Praga, a Formula K, and a CRG, all in the fight for second.
Nice to see a big mix of chassis throughout the field. Big mix of teams as well. Not all the chassis are run by the same team. Different teams might also use the same chassis as, say, for RKT.
And here they come, up on the inside. Morel goes to second. Mlangeni under pressure now from Abrams. In fact, make that third. Beg your pardon. I forgot about McBeath. I thought he might have not been there, but he's still there. Unbelievable drive coming out of Jay. So take nothing away from Jason McBeath. He's still hanging on for second. So that move was for third, and it's changed up again as Morel has retaken it.
Yeah, if these boys don't settle down soon, it's going to be Jason McBeath again, all on his own, and Troy Sneman all on his own in front. So they need to settle down and get onto the back of Jason McBeath now. Decide who's leading the group and leave him there.
And just make sure that you get to the front end man before you start to fight it out. That's where things all go wrong. And up in the middle there, a little bit of chopping and changing. Tyler Robinson moving nicely through there. Kazi Motlaka starting to come onto the back end of the field too. So all of a sudden it's going to be 4 or 5 carts that weren't usually in the mix, now in the mix properly. They've caught McBeath. So they've worked nicely together. Morel took the lead, brought them up there, and he's bringing Mlangeni and Abrams along for the ride.
Yeah, Tyler Robinson split Ethan Steer there and actually moved herself. Ooh, big move from Morel on the inside of McBeath. That's allowing Glennie up the inside, but he's not able to make it stick. He's going to go inside into Pipeline though, and he's able to do it 3 places down in 1 corner.
Sure, losing out there, McBeath in a big way. Morel got him at the bottom. Then you saw Mlangeni come through, and right on his tail was the RKT there of Abrams. And what a turnaround there. You think you're going to come out of that turn, I'm in second place, and by the time you come into the next turn, you're down in 5th place. Not quite hard worked out there for Jason McBeath.
Yes, they definitely work well together to catch McBeath, and in fact, they've stayed 3 carts moving away from McBeath now.
Yeah, opening up that margin. McBeath trying to stay with him, but I don't think he's got what it takes now as they head up there. He's got about 2 cart lengths on the back end of Mika Abrams. He's made it up under braking though. Closes right up nicely behind that RKT. Just behind that, they line up with Robinson Motlaka and Ethan Steer, and it's going to be a tight fight there for these final positions on the podium.
Amanda having a look there as they head into funnel, unable to do it, but he's definitely having a look in the Pipeline. Again, just doesn't have the drive that he had in the previous race up the hill.
He's battling a little bit there, and Abrams is wanting to maybe capitalize on that. He's looking for chances wherever he can. McBeath has once again reclosed that gap, and he's now half a cart length behind them. Battle behind them, as you can see, led out at this stage by Tyler Robinson as they come through, and it looks like she's just managing it ahead of Motlaka and Steer.
Yeah, that group was also just split into 3 carts on their own. Steer and Robinson. Robinson doing fantastically well the first time at the circuit in a 2-stroke cart. She has been here before racing the 4-stroke series. That move of Mika's seems to be happening every lap. He just kind of sticks his nose out to see where he's going and pulls back in again.
I think he's battling to see over the top end of Mandlam again. He's just ahead of him, so he's having a look before he turns it in, just to make sure he's on the right line. But watch out for him. That move's eventually going to turn into an overtaking maneuver, like this one is. Okay, he's tried it at a different corner. He wasn't getting in the right-hander, so he said, okay, I'll try it in the left-hander. Worked to perfection.
He goes defensive early into hockey stick to keep Mandla behind him. Does he have the pace though to get onto the back of Matthew Morel? Matthew looks about two car lengths ahead of him now as they head onto the brakes in turn 1, but Mick has been strong on the brakes in here the whole weekend.
Yeah, and they're not going to catch him on the brakes there, that's for sure, as you said. Perfectly done, perfect kart placement as well, and now going on the attack to get through there on Morel. So Morel, as we've seen, possibly going to be with a bit of a nose cone infringement, because he had a bit of an issue there on the warm-up lap. And now, it's so close there. Mika Abrams, he'll not know about that nose cone, so he's going to fight for second no matter what, and push it to the limit now. 2.5 laps to go for these drivers, and it's Morel still in second place. Look at the gap, though, that Sneeman has pulled. It's almost 10 seconds now.
Yeah, Mika been strong here all weekend, so he uses it to his advantage, makes it happen. And you saw there, as Morel touched the back of Mika's cart, the nose cone moved. So it's definitely been pushed in, and he's definitely going to be having that penalty.
Yeah, that's going to be a costly one for him if he stays where he is right now and gets that nose cone infringement. Probably going to drop him out of the top 5. And he's got some more worries to concern himself about in the form of Mlungeni, who's all over the back of him, and McBeath, who's waiting to pounce there and possibly spoil the day for both of those drivers ahead. Dive on the inside, Morel. Oh, good move. Is he going to be able to make it stick, though, and keep it together as they get to the top? Yes, he is. And Mlungeni goes with him. So a little bit of a mistake there, opening up the door, and unfortunately, Mika Abrams loses out.
Yeah, Mika trying to go around the outside of Matthew up the pipeline. He should have known that he didn't have the drive and should have stayed behind him. But him going to try and go around the outside just allowed Manda to come past.
He's going to come back in and move. He's good on the brakes. Is he good enough to make it stick? No, he has a look, but just can't get up the inside of Mlungeni. And Mlungeni just hanging on now for that third spot as they come through and up through Thunderdome again. Now, looking at Troy Snyman has disappeared at the front end. This is one of the back markers they're coming up on. This is Ethan Deacon. Could play a little bit of a role here for the steam train. And if he doesn't stay out the way, he could be involved in a big incident down here into funnel. He gets out the way, fortunately. And all four carts get through, but they go through 4x4. Somebody's definitely been disadvantaged there. I think it might have been Mika Abrams. Yes, it was. Mika Abrams had to go defensive there as they went past the back marker and nearly caught out by McBeath. But that has brought all of a sudden Motlika, Steer, and Tyler Robinson back into the hunt.
Yeah, she's definitely there close enough to Jason McBeath to have a go now. So feeling a bit hungry, but Jason McBeath getting close to Mika Abrams as well as they head up there. Gazzy Motlika having a look quickly on Tyler, unable to make it happen though.
Oh, big move there as well, just behind as Ethan Steer just tried to fend off the attentions coming through there. Now heading up onto that back straightaway. You can't even see Troy Snyman. That's the gap he's got over Matthew Morel coming to the closing stages of this race. Morel hanging on for now. Can he keep it all together? Will Mlungeni have a go at him? He has to have a go. There's no doubt about it. They've got to try and catch this man. No one's going to do that. 10 seconds down the road. In fact, it's almost 11 seconds. That's how far he is. Look at the gap. He's coming down into hockey stick. They haven't even turned into pipeline. The checkered flag is out. Troy Snyman. What a dominant drive here from Snyman. That is a huge, huge advantage he's got. Who's going to get second place? They come down on the braking. Morel is right there, but he's going to get second place. However, that nose cone infringement is going to give second place there to Mlungeni. Mika Abrams will get third. Tyler Robinson, what a drive. Top 5 finish from the young lady. Then the Praga in fourth place, beating out Ghazi Motlika. Then it was Ethan Steer, and Morel eventually dropped down to 7th place. So it was a 6-point disadvantage he picked up there with that nose cone. Jason McBeath in 8th, Deacon in 9.
Extremely good season for me. Like none of the other ones. I've won most races this year. I have a really good start in the season. Hopefully a good finish, and hopefully I can go to Sano in Italy.
It's been a pretty tough weekend with me missing a day of practice, me qualifying in top 4 but not having the pace to get with the top 3. I mean, we did fix the problem, but I mean all heats do count. I really enjoyed this race, racing with all my other competitors. Fair race, good race, no altercations. It's been pretty good. The car has just been amazing the whole weekend. I really want to thank my mechanic and my team coach for pushing me through this weekend, even though it's been a struggle.